Success does not start with huge changes overnight. It does not come from a single big win, a lucky break, or one massive moment of change. It comes from small, steady improvements every single day. The secret to long-term success is not found in sudden jumps, but in the building effect of daily growth. Being just 1% better each day might seem small in the moment, but over time, it leads to amazing results. Most people miss the power of tiny changes. They think that getting better has to be dramatic and that change must happen right away. They look at winners and assume they got there because of talent, brain power, or some unfair advantage. But the reality is that success is created in small decisions and the choices made in quiet moments when no one is watching. The gap between those who win and those who stay stuck is the promise to get just a little better every single day. It does not take much to change your life. It only takes being consistent. If you commit to improving by 1% every day, by the end of a year, you will not just be 365% better. Because of how progress builds on itself, you will be over 37 times better than when you started. That is the difference between being average and being unstoppable. It is the difference between staying the same and becoming a brand new person through your growth. However, most people never see this kind of change because they quit too early. They give up before they allow their progress to start working for them. They expect fast results, and when they do not see them, they stop. They go to the gym for 1 week, see no change, and quit. They start a new habit, miss a few days, and drop it. They take action, but when progress feels slow, they lose their drive. Successful people think in a different way. They understand that real change takes time. They do not worry about being perfect. They do not try to be 100% better in one day. They commit to small, steady gains, knowing that progress builds on top of itself. They trust the path and show up daily. They do the work even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because they stay consistent, they eventually reach levels that others only dream about. The secret is not in making huge leaps. It is in mastering the little things. It is about small habits, tiny improvements, and details that seem small today but create massive energy over time. If you focus on becoming just a little better than you were yesterday, that growth will stack up, and before you know it, your whole life will be different. So the question is, how do you do it? How do you commit to getting 1% better every day? How do you stay consistent when results are not fast? How do you build a system that ensures you move forward no matter how small the step is? It comes down to a few basic rules. When you use these rules every day, they create the base for lifelong growth. Once you understand them and use them, you will never feel stuck again. You will never wonder if success is possible for you. You will know that as long as you are moving forward, even a little, your future is getting better. Improving by 1% every day is not just a plan, it is a way of thinking and a way of life. Once you commit to it, everything changes. The first key to improving by 1% every day is mastering consistency. Small gains only build up when they are repeated over time. One big effort does not create a total change, but daily effort does. The problem is that most people struggle to stay consistent. They start strong but fade away fast. They get excited about change but lose their spark when results are slow. They wait to feel inspired instead of building a routine. Because they lack consistency, they never see the real impact of small gains over time. If you want to become unstoppable, you must make consistency something you do no matter what. It cannot be something you do only when you feel like it. It must become part of who you are. You do not brush your teeth only when you feel motivated. You do it because it is a habit. You do not question it or argue with yourself about it. That is how you must handle self-improvement. The first step to mastering consistency is letting go of the need to be perfect. Many people fail because they set goals that are too high. They think if they cannot do something perfectly, they should not do it at all. They tell themselves that if they do not have an hour to exercise, they will not do it at all. If they do not have time for a whole chapter, they will not read at all. This all-or-nothing way of thinking is the quickest way to stay stuck. Successful people remove the need for perfection. If they cannot do an hour, they do 10 minutes. If they cannot do 10 minutes, they do 2. They know that doing something is always better than doing nothing. They do not focus on how hard they work, they focus on showing up. They train themselves to take some kind of action every single day, no matter how small it is. The second step is building systems instead of relying on your mood. Feelings are not reliable. Some days you will feel ready to go, and other days you will not. If you only take action when you feel like it, you will never be consistent. The key is to create systems that make getting better automatic. Systems take away the need for willpower. They remove the guesswork and make it easier to act than to skip. A system could be as simple as having a set time for certain habits. If you want to get fit, plan your workouts at the same time every day. If you want to be a better reader, commit to reading at a specific time, even if it is just for 5 minutes. If you want to learn a skill, set aside a small window of time each day to practice. The more structure your habits have, the less effort it takes to stay on track. The third step is tracking your progress to build momentum. Seeing progress builds your confidence. When you see growth, even in small amounts, it feeds your drive. But most people do not track what they do. They do not notice the small wins. And because they do not see results fast enough, they think they are not getting better. This leads to feeling upset, and that leads to quitting. Successful people track their habits. They use simple tools like a notebook, a calendar, or a list to see their consistency. When they work out, they mark it down. When they practice a skill, they record it. When they see their streak growing, they feel more driven to keep going. This turns getting better into a game where moving forward is the reward and quitting feels like a loss. The fourth step is removing things that get in your way. Most people struggle to stay consistent because their environment makes it hard. They try to use willpower instead of designing a space that helps their habits. If your phone is full of things that distract you, you will struggle to focus. If your kitchen is full of junk food, you will struggle to eat well. If your home is messy, you will struggle to be productive. Your surroundings shape your behavior more than you think. Successful people design their space for success. If they want to read more, they put books where they can see them. If they want to exercise, they set out their clothes the night before. If they want to eat better, they remove the snacks. They set themselves up to win instead of just trying harder. The final step is making choices based on who you want to be. Most people try to build habits by focusing on what they want to do. They say they want to eat better or wake up early, but they never become the type of person who does those things naturally. Successful people do not just pick up new habits, they take on a new identity. Instead of saying they want to work out, they say they are the type of person who never misses a session. Instead of saying they want to read more, they say they are the type of person who learns something every day. When you shift how you see yourself, being consistent becomes easier. You do not have to force yourself to act. You do it because it is who you are. When you act like that person, small gains happen on their own. Ask yourself if you are trying to change your actions or your identity. Are you waiting to feel like it? Or are you building a system? Are you letting perfection stop you? Or are you choosing progress over excuses? Once you master consistency, you unlock the power of small gains. And once you get 1% better every day, nothing can stop you. After you master consistency, the next key is stacking small wins. Progress is built on momentum. When you create small victories, they build your belief in yourself. They prove that you are moving forward. The more small wins you get, the easier it is to keep going. Many people overlook these small wins. They think success comes from one big event. They believe they need huge results to feel like they are winning. But this is not true. The biggest goals are built on a base of tiny wins. Every great success in history started with small, steady steps that grew over time. The first step to stacking wins is focusing on moving forward, not being perfect. Perfection is a trap that keeps people from starting. It makes them afraid and creates goals that are too hard to reach. But progress is different. Progress is about taking a step no matter how small. It does not have to be perfect. It just has to be better than yesterday. If you do one more rep at the gym, that is a win. If you read one more page, that is a win. If you wake up 5 minutes earlier, that is a win. These might seem small, but when they are stacked daily, they create power that cannot be stopped. The second step is setting tiny goals that lead to big ones. Most people set giant goals, but never break them down into daily tasks. They look at the big picture and feel stressed. They focus on how far they have to go instead of what they can do right now. Because they feel stressed, they do nothing. Successful people break things down into tiny, winnable actions. If the goal is 50 books a year, they focus on a few pages a day. If the goal is a business, they focus on one small task at a time. They understand that big results come from small, repeated efforts. Instead of looking at the finish line, they focus on winning the day. The third step is celebrating those small wins. Your brain likes rewards. When you notice a win, your brain feels good, which keeps you motivated. Most people ignore their progress and only celebrate big milestones. Because those take time, they feel like they are failing. Successful people make it a habit to notice every win. They track their work and give themselves credit for showing up. Because they see their progress, they stay excited to keep moving. The fourth step is letting your wins grow by staying with it. Success is like a staircase where each step builds on the last one. If you get 1% better every day, those gains multiply. What starts as a small win today becomes a big advantage later. Think of it like saving money. Small amounts grow into a lot over time. The same happens with you. The first few days might feel slow, but the longer you stay with it, the faster you grow. Most people quit before the growth starts to speed up, but those who stay with it experience a life-changing shift. The final step is changing your identity to become a winner. Successful people do not just reach for success, they embody it. They do not just chase goals, they become the person who naturally wins every day. If you want to get 1% better every day, you must change how you see yourself. Instead of saying you want to be disciplined, say you are someone who follows through no matter what. Your actions will always match how you see yourself. If you see yourself as a person who improves, you will naturally look for ways to get better. Your habits will follow your self-image. So, are you waiting for big wins, or are you stacking small ones? Are you aiming for perfection or progress? Once you commit to small daily wins, success becomes certain. Once you have the habit of stacking wins, the next key is building a mindset that cannot be stopped. Growth is not just about what you do. It is about how you think and how you handle hard times. When things get tough, many people stop their own progress because they have not trained their minds. They let fear and doubt take over. They start strong, but when it gets hard, they say it is too difficult and give up. They break their streak and go back to old ways. But successful people do not wait for things to be easy or for themselves to feel brave. They do not let their feelings run their lives. They build a mind so strong that no setback can stop them. The first step to this mindset is changing the story you tell yourself. Most people see themselves as limited. They say they are not disciplined or not good at things. Because they believe this, they act that way. If you want to get 1% better every day, you must change your story. Tell yourself you are someone who shows up. Tell yourself you are becoming more confident. Your mind believes what you tell it most often. If you tell it you are unstoppable, you will find a way through anything. The second step is building mental strength. This is the ability to keep going no matter what. Most people quit the moment they feel resistance. But success is about pushing through that feeling. Like lifting weights, growth happens when it starts to burn. If you stop when it is uncomfortable, you never get stronger. The moment things get hard is the moment your toughness is built. That is when you must move forward. The third step is using obstacles as fuel. Most people see problems as walls. They think they would be successful if things were easier, but successful people use challenges to grow. They ask how a problem can make them stronger. If they fail, they learn. If they are rejected, they improve. They know that struggle is a sign of growth, not a sign to quit. The fourth step is controlling your emotions. Most people let their feelings choose their actions. If they are tired, They make excuses. Successful people do not let feelings run the show. They take action regardless. They know motivation comes and goes, but commitment is what counts. They train themselves to work whether they feel like it or not. The final step is preparing your mind for the long haul. Success is not a short game. It is about getting better for years. To do that, you must stay hungry. Many people get comfortable once they see a little progress, but the best never stop growing. They keep looking for that 1% gain even when they are winning. This is what separates one-time winners from people who stay successful. The greatest leaders did not stop when they reached the top. They pushed harder. They knew that the moment you stop growing is the moment you start to fall back. So ask yourself, are you thinking like someone who gets better every day? Are you making excuses or pushing through? Once you have an unstoppable mind, nothing can stop you from getting 1% better every single day. Building on the idea of getting 1% better every day, the final piece of the puzzle is learning how to protect your progress and keep it going for a lifetime. Once you have the mindset and the systems, you must learn how to handle the plateau and the environment around you. Success is not a straight line that always goes up. It is often a series of flat lines followed by quick jumps. Most people quit when they are on a flat line because it feels like nothing is changing. They put in the work, they stay consistent, but the results do not show up right away. This is the moment where the 1% rule is most important. You must keep going even when you cannot see the change. You are not failing, you are storing up energy. Just like water that is heated from 1 degree to 99 degrees shows no outward change until it hits 100 and starts to boil, your effort is being saved up for a breakthrough. To protect this progress, you must also look at the people around you. It is very hard to improve by 1% every day if the people you spend time with are dragging you down. Growth is contagious, but so is laziness. If you surround yourself with people who make excuses, you will eventually start making excuses too. But if you find a community of people who are also pushing to be better, their energy will lift you up. You do not have to do this alone. Finding a partner or a group that values growth makes the hard days much easier to handle. Another vital part of staying on track is the power of reflection. You cannot improve what you do not measure. At the end of each week, take a few minutes to look back. Ask yourself what went well and where you struggled. Did you hit your 1% goal? If not, why? This is not about feeling guilty. It is about adjusting your plan. If a system did not work, change the system. If a habit was too hard, make it smaller. Reflection allows you to stay flexible while remaining committed to your long-term vision. Finally, you must learn to fall in love with the process rather than the goal. If you only focus on the finish line, you will be unhappy until you reach it. And once you do reach it, you will feel empty because the chase is over. But if you fall in love with the daily act of getting better, you win every single day. You stop worrying about how far away the end is and start enjoying the person you are becoming. This is the ultimate secret to being unstoppable. When the daily work becomes its own reward, you no longer need external motivation. You become a person who is constantly evolving, constantly learning, and constantly growing. The journey of 1,000 miles truly does start with a single step, but it is finished by the thousands of tiny steps that come after it. Do not look for the big move. Do not wait for the perfect time. The perfect time is right now, and the best move is the smallest one you can take today. As long as you keep moving, as long as you keep stacking those 1% wins, you will eventually look back and be amazed at how far you have come. You are not just changing your habits, you are changing your destiny. The ultimate goal of getting 1% better every day is to reach a state of flow where growth becomes your natural way of living. This stage is about the long game and how you handle the transition from building habits to maintaining excellence. Many people can start a journey, but very few can stay on the path for years. To do this, you must understand that the journey never truly ends. There is no final finish line where you stop growing. Instead, you move from one level of mastery to the next. One of the most important things to learn at this stage is the art of recovery. Improving every day does not mean burning yourself out. If you push at 100% intensity without rest, you will eventually break. The 1% rule is about sustainability. It means finding a pace that you can keep up forever. Sometimes being 1% better means choosing to rest today so that you have the energy to work tomorrow. It means listening to your body and mind and knowing when to push and when to recharge. True consistency includes rest, because a person who burns out cannot be consistent. As you continue to grow, you will also face the challenge of success itself. When you start to see results, it is easy to become satisfied and stop doing the very things that made you successful. You might start to skip the small habits or ignore the tiny details because you feel like you have arrived. This is a trap. The moment you think you are good enough is the moment you stop improving. To stay unstoppable, you must keep the mind of a beginner. You must stay curious and always look for the next small thing you can improve. The higher you climb, the more important the small details become. You also need to learn how to handle the social pressure that comes with change. As you become a better version of yourself, some people might not understand your new path. They might try to pull you back to your old self because your growth makes them feel uncomfortable about their own lack of progress. You must be prepared to stand firm in your new identity. You do not owe anyone a version of yourself that no longer exists. Your growth is your responsibility, and it is okay to outgrow certain environments or relationships that no longer serve your future. The final piece of this philosophy is the impact you have on others. When you commit to getting 1% better every day, you become a light for those around you. You do not have to preach or tell people what to do. Your actions and your transformation will speak for themselves. By showing up and doing the work, you give others permission to do the same. You prove that change is possible and that success is a result of daily choices, not just luck. Your personal growth becomes a gift to the world because you can help others in a better way. So, as you move forward, remember that this is a lifelong practice. Focus on the day in front of you. Do not worry about next month or next year. Just ask yourself what the 1% win is for right now. If you win the moment, you win the hour. If you win the hour, you win the day. And if you win the day, you win your life. The power of compounding is always working, whether you notice it or not. Make sure it is working in your favor. Keep showing up, keep stacking your wins, and keep believing in the power of the small step. The next step in this journey is learning how to deal with the feeling of boredom that comes with mastery. Most people think that the biggest threat to success is failure, but it is actually boredom. When you first start getting 1% better, everything is new and exciting. You see quick changes and feel a rush of energy. But after a while, the 1% gains become quiet and repetitive. You find yourself doing the same small habits over and over again. This is where most people quit. They look for a new secret or a more exciting plan because they are tired of the daily grind. However, the most successful people are simply the ones who can handle the boredom of doing the same right things every single day. They do not look for a new path. They just keep walking the one they are on. To stay on the path, you must learn to automate your environment. This means making your good habits the easiest choice and your bad habits the hardest choice. If you want to drink more water, put a bottle on your desk before you start work. If you want to stop checking your phone, put it in a different room. You want to reach a point where you do not have to think about your 1% growth. It should just happen because of how your day is set up. When your environment does the work for you, you save your brain power for the big decisions that really matter. This turns your daily growth into a background process, like breathing, rather than a heavy chore that you have to force yourself to complete. Another part of this stage is learning how to get back on track when you fail. No one is perfect. You will miss a day, you will get sick, or a busy schedule will break your streak. Many people let one mistake turn into a total collapse. They think that because they missed one day, the whole plan is ruined. But the 1% rule says that one mistake is just a tiny dip in a very long line. The secret is to never miss twice. If you miss one day, Make it your top priority to get back to it the next day. Losing one day is an accident, but losing 2 days is the start of a new, bad habit. Successful people are not perfect. They are just very good at starting over quickly. As you get further along, you must also learn to raise your standards. What was a win for you 6 months ago might be the bare minimum for you now. If you stay at the same level of effort, you will eventually stop growing. To keep the 1% compounding, you have to slightly increase the challenge as you get stronger. If you have mastered a 5-minute habit, try making it 7 minutes. If you have mastered a basic skill, look for a slightly harder version of that skill. You want to stay in the zone where the work is not so easy that you get bored, but not so hard that you want to quit. This is the sweet spot of constant growth. Finally, remember that your 1% growth is about the person you are becoming, not just the things you are achieving. Success is a lagging measure of your habits. Your bank account is a lagging measure of your financial habits. Your health is a lagging measure of your eating habits. Your knowledge is a lagging measure of your learning habits. You get what you repeat. If you want to predict where you will be in 10 years, just look at your daily 1% wins or losses. The curve of your life is determined by these tiny moments. Keep your head down, focus on the daily step, and trust that the compounding will take you exactly where you want to go.